Today I had a call to fix a crack in a foundation. Usually they're not a big deal. But what I did is I chipped it all out, I cemented it up, I came back and I painted it. I'm going to show you how I did it. Now let's look at this foundation, get a closer look at it. I already came over here and kind of patched this up. This is all falling apart, you can see that. Over here we got cracks, this is all falling apart. Then the reason we're doing this is because the insurance company said they got big cracks on the foundation. And here's some cracks right there. Then we go on the inside of it. This is an old miner's house. There's a crack going up in there. I put a new window in. And then, I'm doing different videos off of this. We go outside. See, I put that window in. We got some, so we just got to patch it up. It's really nothing's wrong with it. Got a couple cracks, but it's no big deal. See, this is all an old miner's. This is coal in here. I don't know if you can see the coal and mine rock. Got to fix that crack. We're not going to spend time and cause these people a ton of money. We're just going to fix it up, paint it, make it look good, because there's really nothing wrong with it. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to dig along the foundation so we can get down in there a little bit. If you go down in here, there's stone down in there. Let's get into here where there's some holes. See that? And if it's loose, we're going to take it off. If it's not loose, we're going to leave it there. You go to a dentist, you don't rip the tooth out. Fix what has to be fixed, and that's it. So we're getting all this stuff out of here. We can get down in there. Actually, that's pretty solid. That's pretty good. We're going to leave it there. It's a foundation crack. What happens is they put block work against this old coal concrete foundation. And anytime you put something like this, a foundation against another foundation, you're always going to get this little crack. So it's not no big deal. We're going to let it there. We're just going to make sure that we can get in there good with our cement. The deeper we get the cement in there, the better it's going to hold it. We're just widening it out a bit. Nope, there's a spot. See how soft that is? I could work on that all day long. We got this all scraped off. Got all the loose stuff. Now we're going to get down to this crack. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the hammer and cut into it. Don't need saws, you don't need anything. This is just a crack. It's not a big deal, like everybody's trying to make it out to be. It's just a crack. We're going to hide that crack. We're not going to put anything in there that we don't have to. That's a little loose. Cut that right out of there. No big deal. I try to put other stuff in there. We're not going to worry about that. That's it. Get into that crack. The house ain't going to fall down. Some guy got a bid. Gotta tell you this. Some guy got a bid to fix his foundation like $40,000. I'm lucky if I make 400 bucks from this job. That's it. Ain't loose. That's tough. That's tight in there. Ain't loose. Not gonna bother it. Friendy. So we're in there pretty good. I'm confident. I'm confident. Now we're on the inside of the door. Same thing. thing. Just gonna patch the crack up. That's all. I tried one time before. So that's it. As long as we get it open so we can get the cement in there. Same thing. Getting all the loose stuff off. Just like that. No big deal. Get in there. See, I know I can get in there. Just like a dentist. We're on the other side of this door. Doing the same thing. I have this window, and I had a big crack coming down here, and I had to bring it out. Same thing. What we're going to do is wash this all out of here. Make sure we got all the dust out of there. Like that. See it? Get in here, clean it all out with a hose. Very simple. No big deal. Just like that. Now for these big cracks, I'm using a rapid set mortar mix. I'm going to get it out of here. Make enough, but not too much. And we're going to add some water and mix it up like that. Dry stuff dries fast. All right. One more time to see that it's wet. When we get our stuff, throw it right in there. See that? Throw it right in. It'll go. Anytime you're putting on a cement on a trowel, go like this. And then it sticks, you see? Throw it in. No big deal, we'll get it. And if you want to make sure it's in there farther, push it in with your little tool. That'll make sure it's in there. Just like that. See that? I know it's in there. I just want to show you that. See that? No big deal. It's starting to get hard already. Get this down in there. That. They didn't have this stuff years ago. Fast drying cement. Man, what a difference. Crack's a little smaller so we can push it in like that. Force it in, see it? No big deal. We'll get it. You have to work fast though because this stuff dries fast. Here, pack it in there. Throw it in there. It'll work. Yeah. Perfect. It's working. Okay, we need a little more to go down here. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Well, just get a sponge and water, right? Then go over it to match the other stuff. Then we put our final plaster coat on. You won't even know we were here. That's what I want. See that? No big deal. Look at that. Blending in already. You have to a little more here to disguise it. Like that. That's it. Keep going. I don't know if you can see that crack or not, but get your rubber glove, rub it in there, just like that. We got the first part done. We're going to come back and put a little skimp coat of cement on it, and then we're going to come back and paint it. Now I'm going to make a slurry paint, which is an old school bonding agent. All the old timers use it. I'm using straight Portland, and I'm going to add a little water first, because I'm going to make a paint out of it. And because it's a slurry, I'll add some of this. A lot of times I don't use it, but in a case like this, I'll add a little bit. Say 1/3 to the water. And then I'm going to add my Portland. Like that. I'm going to make this into a paint. See that? Well, sometimes I don't add the glue, but in this case, I am. So that's it. I am making a paint. That's what I'm going to use for my bonding agent. Now I'm going to make a plaster mix that's going to go over the bonding agent. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do one of Portland, if you can see that. See? 1. I'm going to make it a little stronger. And I have some mortar, S mortar, which is just mortar with Portland in it. I always said that was pretty iffy the way they make that stuff up. And I'm going to mix it up. That's what I'm going to plaster over the top of that bonding agent. I'm not going to put any fibers in here because this is a stick-on coat. A little wetter. Just like that. See them all ready to go. Now for review, I plastered this side up. You can see the block showing. That's okay. We're going to paint this out when we're done with regular paint. Like I told you, got to make sure it's wet before you put the bonding agent on it. That's pretty good. This is my old school bonding agent. Now let me tell you something. People say, why don't you put wire mesh on there? All you have to do is go to all my videos over in Europe. All those castles and everything never used a bonding agent. This is what they did. Of course, they only had lime in those days, and they had to keep coming back and forth. But you get the idea. Now, see, that's sucking in the water a little bit. So we're going to let it a little bit more to make sure I'm getting that right. You can almost get away with this depending on what you're doing, but you want to do a little better job than that. See that? I know that plaster what I put on now is going to stick. See that? Covering up those cracks already. Now, I'm going to get my other stuff and I'm going to plaster right over the top of that. And that is going to fill in all those holes. That's all we want to do. Want everything to kind of blend. No big deal. Real thin. Because don't forget, we're going to paint this. See that? I'm hiding all those sins. Now, if I could have, I would have stuccoed this. Foundation, no. Okay, I'm going to move this a little bit, right over the top of it. Today's a good day. Today's a good day because it's cool out. It's going to rain in about an hour or so. If it's a nice cool day, it's going to dry better. Now see that? I'm making that all even. Continuing on, like I said, gotta make sure it's wet. This is old school. What they do is they put old lime on here or something, and then they paint it over it with paint. It's a disaster. So we're just going to make it work. We're not going to make a big deal out of this. We're just going to make it work. That's it. Didn't start raining yet. I ain't worried about this though. You gotta get in there, all them grooves. Can't play around, you gotta put it right on when it's wet. Just like this. Now, they had a lot of holes in this foundation, and they're probably getting some critters in here. Same thing, right over the top. That's going to be, hold that in there good. Now you can see that's drying pretty quick, real quick. Suck it in there a little bit. All we want to do is smooth it off so when we paint it, it won't look like cheap. I'm not going to be walking around the thing looking. I just want to make it nice. See, some of the stuff is showing through. That's okay. As long as we got something we could paint over. That's all, just like putting wood putty on wood. No big deal. And then before we paint it, they say usually wait 30 days. We come over and we might patch up a couple spots. That's all. No big deal. Okay, see, some parts are showing through. That's okay. It's stuck in there. That's the good stuff. All we do is blending it in. So we're back over 30 days later because most paint companies will say when you're painting over cement, make sure at least you wait 30 days. So we had the luxury to do that. So we're going to paint this today. Now 30 days later, let's look for that crack. Now that one was done before, but let's look for the evidence of the crack. You can see a little discoloration, but you don't see a crack. You're looking over here, here's where we all did it. You see a little discoloration because of the difference in drying, but you don't see a crack. I'm going to explain that as I'm painting. Well, we're going to start painting, and I'm just using like a stucco masonry paint. Get all the big stuff first. It goes right over the top. I'm going to tell you while I'm painting about foundations. I've been working in the masonry trade since the later 60s. I grew up in the trade. I was 13, 14 years old. I was carrying blocks in the summertime to do all these foundations. I must have worked on 1,000 different foundations. All kind of foundations. Stone foundations, block foundations, concrete foundations, in the union, everything. Here's what happens with foundations. First of all, it rains and the ground gets wet and it swells up. Then it dries in the summer and it shrinks. It's up and down. Right over here we have a railroad track. Train goes by, the ground shakes. Cars go by, trucks go by. Natural movement. Now this was put in maybe, just by looking at it, about 75 years ago. And it only moved maybe that much in 75 years. Now, do you think I should rip this all out and be putting footers in and blocks and everything? All I gotta do, and the reason I paint this, is because if it does crack, I could just run my finger over it with maybe a little caulking or a little cement and paint it again. So that's the reason we're painting it, and the owners picked it out. It's a flat paint, and it's gonna match, and it's gonna look real good when we're done. Now you're gonna ask me, Mike, why didn't you stucco the foundation like you did the other things? Because this is all different. It's block, it's poured concrete, it's like cement. So what I'm trying to do is make it match, and then it's easy to fix. If you use like traditional stucco and then you go to match it, say it does crack, you can't do it. Different foundations, if it was all block and there was no cracks, then I might have stucco it. So there's a different reason for everything. Now I'm getting over here on this side to make everything match. All the foundations are going to match. Now if you remember the crack in this side of the building, 30 days later, there's no sign of it. So we're just painting it. And another thing about paint is waterproof. And what happens with the foundations in Pennsylvania, where I live, northeastern Pennsylvania, it rains, it gets moisture into the ground, and then all of a sudden it starts getting into the cement, because cement isn't waterproof, mortar isn't waterproof, that's all a lie. And then it gets in there and it freezes and it pops it off. So the paint keeps it from getting popped off, and it disguises all the cracks too. Makes it look like we weren't even here. Another thing you probably asked me is, how come you didn't use wire mesh to patch that up? I'm not a believer in wire mesh unless it's absolutely necessary. All those old castles and everything in Europe, they dug down till they hit rock, and then they came up when it was rock and lime mortar, and that was it. There's no wire mesh, there's no rebar, there's no wall ties. All that stuff is new school, and it all rots away, and it's only a matter of time where I got to do it again. So the old guys, they knew what they were doing. So that's it. I patched it up, very inexpensive, maybe $40 worth of paint, maybe $25 worth of rapid set, another $30 worth of cement, and boom, it's done. Maybe 1 out of 150 jobs when I get called to do a foundation do I actually have to do some jacking up or tooth it out or something masonry, but very seldom. Usually it looks like it's a big deal, but it's not. So I have a lot of different playlists on foundation repair and stone foundation repair. Check them out. Usually there's something in there that you can use. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.